In today's video, I'm going to show you all the best smart home products coming in 2024. Now, lots of these products were released at CES, or at least announced there. Well, some of them you can go and pick up today, and the links are below in the description. Of course, in today's video, I'm going to give you prices and expected release dates if they've been provided. Let's start with one of the most exciting products that could be a big hit, or it could be a miss. That is the Rabbit R1, which sold 10,000 units on day 1, 10,000 on day 2, and 10,000 more on day 3. Now the first 10K should come out around March or April, and I bought one on day 1. But I didn't buy it for the cute little interface, or the mic, or the camera, or to order pizza, which was one of the things they showed us it could do. I didn't buy it for the LLM based voice assistant, but instead I'm happy to have that combined with what they're calling the large action model. The features shown were getting a pizza through DoorDash, playing music through Spotify, getting an Uber, and adding details like I have 6 people with me and 3 pieces of luggage. But the point of the R1 is that it is an appless mobile computing device, and then it can be trained on web interfaces. And the most impressive demonstration was the training of the device on the Midjourney interface. If you don't know what Midjourney is, it's an AI generator for pictures and artwork. But in the smart home, if we can train this on a number of the web interfaces that we use today, this will be one of the most interesting smart home products of 2024. Now, I'm not saying run out and buy it, because it's a bit of a leap, but at $200, it's worth a try to me. Govee, who makes great smart lighting and smart appliances, are releasing a ton of new devices in 2024. Now, the new version of what was called the Govee Lyra is called the Floor Lamp Pro. I like this because it's not only improving on the colors and the effects, but it also contains a Bluetooth speaker in the base. That little introduction of a speaker goes for the Table Lamp Pro, and I've enjoyed these little table lamps from Govee. But the addition of a speaker might turn that into a bedside alarm clock. I also really like the new COB LED strip, and I like this material being on LED strips in general because it gives us more options for display. A lot of the time we have to put LED strips behind furniture and reflect their light off of surfaces, but this material is more like the neon rope lights that I've shown a few times on the channel. I like the idea of using that material around my home much more than a basic LED strip. But last year, one of my favorite products from Govee was the AI Gaming Sync Box. It mimics the colors on your PC monitor, but it also gives us specialized effects that occur when a certain event happens in game. There will be many more games added to that system this year, and they're releasing a second generation of the device that can go up to 8K resolution. You probably won't care about that in 2024, but I am personally very excited for 4K at 120 Hertz, which that second generation is capable of. Finally, I noticed we're getting an upgrade of the curtain. And I think with what this company did in the first version, the second one's going to be very exciting. Plus, they're releasing a new AI lighting effect generator that will work with all of these new products, and that allows you to give commands through text, voice, or even images. That will give the app instructions on what effect to create for you. The most exciting thing, though, is that this is going to work with a lot of existing Govee lights, so you don't necessarily need to go get all the new versions. At the end of 2023, I took a look back at all the robot vacuums I'd worked with. I just kept coming back to the experience I had with Narwal. While I put Frio through some of the most difficult tests, because that makes for good views on YouTube, I also used this device throughout the year, and I just kept coming back to the way it did the job. But this year, Narwal's releasing the Ultra version of Frio. Now, everybody who has a robot vacuum has experienced the brush getting all kinds of tangles on it. And if you watch some of the demos of Ultra, they've managed to deal with this through their design. No more spending time cutting out gross stuff. And although this is one of the units that doesn't empty the vacuum contents, they do this compression of the dust to give you 7 weeks of storage physically on the device. And that also helps when you go to dispose of the bag that's inside. And it's going to keep it from puffing out all that debris at you. And that's on top of an already best-in-class mopping system. They have a lot of downward pressure with their mops, and the design of the mops themselves really help this. It also does this dirt sense thing where it tests the water when it gets back to the base and then sends the mop back if it needs to. It's just making sure your home's clean, and I loved that feature. And the person I've passed this robot vacuum on to has loved it so far. So I'm really looking forward to the Ultra version of Narwal. When I reviewed the Sonoff NSPanel Pro in 2023, one of the things I said was that they needed a bit of an iteration on the interface and that they needed to give us a few more customization options and a few more options for connection. Now the NSPanel Pro looks like a replacement for a light switch, but it's so much more, as it's both a Zigbee hub and a Matter controller. Now last year I was able to connect some third-party Zigbee devices and Matter devices to the existing Panel Pro here. I loved that I could put it on the wall, and if I wanted to, I could just put it in this little compartment that Sonoff sells. So there was a lot of work, but the interface wasn't customizable enough. And yet, with the new Sonoff NSPanel Pro 120, you're getting a bigger display, plus they are adding some of those customization options that I was after. So this little panel acted as a pretty good home automation hub, and it can act as a whole security system for your home. It connects to platforms like Philips Hue, Yeelight, and even some IKEA products. So this becomes a really great option for an inexpensive DIY smart home control system that has a dashboard on it inherently. I'm excited to see the changes that come with the new version, as the new footprint feels right to me, and the upgrades to the user experience are very important. I very rarely get to feature Amazon products in these kinds of videos because they usually keep their product releases pretty close to their chest. But last year, in their fall event, they gave us a glimpse of the Echo Hub, which is an 8-inch smart display on what is essentially a wall-mounted tablet. Now the point of this is that it's a smart home dashboard with control available for all your smart home gear. You'll also have Amazon's voice assistant, and it will act as a single control panel for your security system through Amazon and Ring. This is the start of some of these companies trying to produce dashboards to allow us to control our smart homes. And with the new map view available in Amazon's app, should get a nice visual interface like that to control our smart home through just a $180 smart home dashboard. That's going to be an absolutely huge product this year, and I can't wait to see that evolution take place. Amazon's also releasing their AI supported version of their voice assistant this year, and we've already seen the start of that with some skills, letting you do things like create music with just a command. Now let's move into plumbing. Not something we talk a lot about here, but I could point out two products that are attaching themselves to your plumbing that will provide you additional smart features as a result. The SwitchBot S10 is the second robot vacuum and mop unit from SwitchBot. These folks are headed down the path of consumer-grade robotics, and what they've done with the S10 is they've allowed you to attach it to your home plumbing in order to get fresh water for mopping, and then to flush the dirty water down your drain. They'll also release the Humidifier 2, which can be filled by the S10. This makes it that consumer level of robotics because it has multiple jobs in your home and will keep that humidifier running. Now the second product that connects to your home's plumbing comes from Kohler. Their new Anthem Plus version of their shower control system is definitely something looking at, but it's not for those of us who have a bit of a budget. The Anthem Plus improves from the Anthem in terms of how many valves you can control. It goes from 6 to 12, and it gives you different temperatures, a different pressure level control for all these different sprayers, and obviously it's going to give you a pretty luxury shower experience. But Kohler's also been focused on a multi-sensory experience, and they allow you to control things like your lighting in your bathroom as well as some of your speakers. It's all a luxury experience, but if I was building a new shower, I think I'd look at it. Not every smart home product requires a big explanation. There's a lot of products coming in 2024 that are being released to improve your home or your existing smart home setup. So let's rip through some new products that'll improve your home. Innovelli is releasing a matter over thread version of their smart switches. This company has been building smart light switches for some time now, and instead of creating Zigbee or Z-Wave versions, they're creating something that is Matter compatible. Pricing looks good, and the release time looks like March. TP-Link is releasing a ton of new products, but my favorite is the H500 Smart Home Base. This gives you a local security and a local storage device for their security cameras, and it's expandable up to 16 terabytes with your own hard drive. It's also going to provide all kinds of in-home computing to allow things like facial recognition as well as pet and vehicle detection. You can connect up to 16 cameras and 64 smart home sensors to this base. Now they're also releasing the Tapo Smart Video Door Lock, which is a door lock and a combo unit with a video doorbell. It's a 2K version and it will have Apple HomeKit compatibility, which is a newer feature being added to a lot of the products being released by TP-Link. Nanoleaf finally released their Skylight product, which I showed in last year's version of this same video. But a lot of you are going to want to look at that because of the very large layouts you can create with that product. But they're also releasing some improvements on their Essentials lineup. They now have some outdoor products, and the new releases are all multicolored, which improves on the rest of the Essentials lineup, which has only allowed you to display a single color at a time. This should give us some of the specialized features that we've been after within the Essentials lineup from them. There are a few monitor light bars coming out, but I think my favorite is from Razer. They're making a Matter over Wi-Fi version of a smart light bar just like this. It has simple controls on it, but it's also an RGBW light that will obviously work to mirror colors on your PC with all the software that Razer provides for your computer. I'm kind of interested in this Canadian company called Blacklight. The reason I'm interested is because a couple of their products will provide RGBW and black lights. They call it RGB UV, and while I'm not big on having black lights all around my home, I do think that'd be a lot of fun for gaming. But I want to talk a little bit about Aqara and their releases here in 2024. This is probably the company that I think has made the most progress with their smart home system over the last couple of years and have now become a serious player for your entire smart home. If you're looking at revamping or rebuilding your smart home with a new system, I think you need to look at the new M3. The reason I say that is because it contains all the wireless technologies that you'll want to control things in your home. It features Zigbee 3.0, which has always been a part of Aqara system and their devices. And so you can get all of their older, inexpensive products to work with this hub. But then you can get their new Matter and Matter over Thread products that they're releasing, and this will work with those. Now, what's even more interesting is that for the first time, Aqara is allowing third-party Matter products to come into their app. This will unlock all kinds of great automation options within the Aqara app, and it will unlock a lot of the power of devices like the FP2, a presence sensor that can see what part of the room you're in. This is on top of some new smart locks coming down the pipe from this company, and depending on your home, you might want to look at the U200 or the U300. Both of those are going to be compatible with their new hub. I have loved the U100 since receiving it, and I can't wait to try out the two new locks with the new hub. Reolink's been building up their lineup of cameras for a long time now, and I've experienced a few of them and have realized just how good they are at making video look great, even in a security camera. Now, their new Duo 3 PoE camera is exactly what it sounds like. It's a dual camera, so you get visuals from two sides, and then they stitch that together and give you a huge panoramic with this single device. The version I'm talking about provides 180-degree coverage, has 16 megapixel UHD quality through two 4K image sensors, and it can all be powered by Ethernet through PoE. You can get local storage with a micro SD card, and of course it's going to work with Reolink's NVR systems, and that's on top of all the features you're getting with Reolink cameras. This is also one of the brands that people look at when they're trying to pair with systems like Home Assistant. So this is one to watch. One of the most interesting products in the last few years was the Mui board. Now that's because the front is as it appears. This is a wooden touchscreen that you can control your smart home with. Even more interesting is that the second generation seems to have some ability for you to hand draw on it. It's a smart home hub with lots of connectivity that you're going to be after, and I think this is something you can bring into your home, put at the front door, and have it give you that really quick control that you're after when you come into your home. Now, it's not cheap, and it's going to be later in the year that we will start to see these come out, but I really enjoy the look of this one, and I'm betting lots of you will have a look at it. The biggest question I had after these products were released at CES was, are Google Nest hubs all about to die? LG's 2024 televisions have just become Google Home hubs. They'll be able to control anything in the Google Home app, and they will be Matter controllers as well. Of course, this all works with LG's ThinQ products and the ThinQ app, which you'll be able to control using your television as well. They'll also become Chromecast built-in televisions, and with all the focus from LG on the smart home and all of the lack of focus from Google on their own branded products, I am starting to wonder if LG might have one of the most important set of products of 2024 for those of you who use Google. Let's rock it into another rapid fire segment. And this time I'm going to start with Shelly. Now, it's not so much that Shelly is giving us a lot of new products that are going to blow us away, but I like the fact that they're releasing a Z-Wave lineup of their Qubino relays. The previous lineups with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi communication can sometimes have difficulty in walls and in certain homes. So having a Z-Wave option is really great, and it should promote my personal use of their relays this year. I've been covering Barracuda for a few years now, but I like their new BeMind smart mirror. This is essentially a wellness assistant that can help with everything from oral care to skin analysis, and can even help you control your smart home. This will be an interesting one to watch going forward, and we'll see who integrates this kind of technology into their products. Lepro isn't exactly a household name, but I found a couple of lamps inside their launches at CES that I think look fantastic. This company's been producing relatively inexpensive smart lighting for a long time, but it looks like they're stepping up their game, and I want to try out these little lamps. The Matic robot vacuum isn't exactly cheap, but it's made to basically run all day. It can switch between vacuum and mop modes on the fly, and it's supposed to be able to identify the type of mess, as well as the objects you have around your home. It's also privacy centric, and their stated intention is that all data remains within your home. There's a lot more here to this one, but the price tag is the thing that will get a lot of you. And this one's a bit of a stretch. It might not have smart home implications in 2024, and honestly, it may never get there. But if you haven't seen the Displace television that operates on hot swappable batteries and that are completely wireless, then you haven't seen one of the most interesting platforms to build a smart display off of. And that's the rub. You can't do that yet, and the price is ridiculous. But the Displace TV Mini sitting on a fridge is a really fun thought, at least for me. There were two smart locks that made a lot of noise at CES. The first comes from Lockly with their Visage, which is a facial recognition based lock. And although that's a neat sounding feature and will make headlines, I think I'm more excited about what Philips is doing with their lock that can read your palm and the lines on it as well as the veins in order to open your door. My only caveat there is that I wonder if this could be broken by something as simple as a copy of your hand on a piece of paper. That'll be an interesting test for me. Let's be honest and say that we've had enough robot vacuums, especially in this video, but this is a place with high competition in the smart home space, so the Roborock S8 Max V Ultra has to be on most people's list, especially if they have a Roborock vacuum that's a few years old. This one has a little arm that extends out into the corners, and it's extending along the side wall, whether it's doing vacuuming or mopping. It comes with a new voice assistant that you can activate by saying, "Hey Rocky." And of course, it contains all the technology that Roborock has been building for years around their smart vacuums. All this works, and that's why it has to be a pretty big consideration for most of you looking at a robot vacuum this year. Eve has continued to update their existing lineup for the new Matter standard, and they've continued to produce more and more compatibility through that. But just a few weeks before 2024, they released details about an energy monitoring smart outlet. This is actually a bit of a gap in the industry right now. One of the big reasons that an outlet makes more sense than a smart plug or a smart power bar is because of the loading requirements and the specifications that an outlet has to meet. As in, you should be able to plug in heaters into a smart outlet, and it shouldn't be dangerous like it can be with a smart plug or a smart power bar. Now, this is something that has to be looked at in the specifications before you buy it, but I'm pretty sure that this one's going to have a pretty big use case. Now, the other way you can get some great options for smart products in 2024 is to watch the very best that came out last year. That video's up on screen now, and you can find out what we rated as the best products in the smart home industry in that video there. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, live smart.